The Melody Pokemon 𝗢𝗡𝗘, a bulky special attacker on one side and a devastatingly fast physical attacker on the other. How's it going, guys? My name is just 𝗢𝗡𝗘 and welcome to my channel where we try to bring out the potential of every Pokemon available. Today's focus is on 𝗢𝗡𝗘, as I'm sure you figured out. But did you know 𝗢𝗡𝗘 had two forms? Probably right. By utilizing the move Relic Song, this Pokemon can temporarily turn from its Aria form into its deadly physical attacking Pirouette form, which boasts a massive 128 base in its speed and attack, and it turns into a fighting and normal type too. It reverts back to its Aria form once it's switched out, however, so if you're going to use it, make it count. The 𝗢𝗡𝗘 set I decided to run in this video consists of 4 attacking moves, being Close Combat for Stab, Ice Punch for bulky flying types like Gliscor, Knockoff for pesky Ghost and Psychic types, and of course the key to it all, Relic Song. I went ahead and EV trained it to the max in its attack and speed, as well with a jolly nature. For Terra, I chose Steel for defensive purposes, and the item wise, I went with the Assault Vest to help it take special hits a little bit better. Also, stick around to the end of the video for a blooper battle, and also a rental code for the team. If you want to see how all the Pokemon in this team were made, be sure to join the live streams as you'll be able to chat with me while I train the Pokemon up. And you can even nickname them for me too. The first battle showcasing 𝗢𝗡𝗘 is against Bowser from the Pokemon Battle Hub Discord, which you should definitely join, by the way, link in the description. It's completely free to join. So with all that being said, let's jump into the first game. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Bowser or Rory. They're going to send out the Ceruledge first. I did kind of predict this, which is why I love my Clefable. Physically defensive, can take any hit from this thing, no problem. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go for a Moonblast or a Stealth Rock, right? So looking at their squad, I'd say the best option here was to either Ceaseless Edge and take the Moonblast, or switch into Gholdengo or the King Gambit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the Stealth Rocks. We want to get them up on their side of the field. They're going to be really useful this game because I don't see a Hazard Clearer on their team, which is absolutely amazing for us. Gotta love it. So they withdraw this, I said Ceruledge, didn't I? Samurott. And they're going to go into the Gholdengo, I'm guessing, with Money. Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Oh, it's a shiny one as well. That's cool. Floats in the air on the air balloon. We go for a Stealth Rocks. They're up now for good, I think. Let me have a little look at the team. I don't remember seeing a Defogger or a Rapid Spinner. So, no, we're good. We're good. So Stealth Rocks are up, and they're up to stay. So, best bet to go into is going to be 𝗢𝗡𝗘 with the Assault Vest to take any hit, right? Especially if they go for a Shadow Ball, but they're probably going to go for Make It Rain. So my actual best hit is the Incineroar, which is also specially defensive. Can take any hit from this thing, unless they predict a switch and go Focus Blast, which are 2 shots. We should be fine. So we get the Intimidate off, not that it matters. And then they go for a Make It Rain, which is fine. I'm going to eat that. And it's going to lower their special attack as well, which is fantastic. So what we can do now is, looking at that squad, I would say that they probably switch out into the... good point, actually. What do they switch into? Because I'm just going to go for a knockoff here. Yeah, I'm just going to go for a knockoff. They do withdraw. They could bring Samurott in. Always an option. Yeah, they do bring the Samurott back in, the doggy. Nice and shiny. Stealth Rocks do dig in, breaking a potential sash. But we're going to knock that sash off if it is a sash. It could be banded or scarfed. Assault Vest. Interesting. So, I know I don't want to take a hit from this thing. I kind of have to predict the Water type move coming in. They wouldn't go for a Ceaseless Edge. They either go for a Sacred Sword or they go for a Water type move. So I'm going to hard switch into 𝗢𝗚𝗚𝗚, the Drazuka on the team. So Drazuka comes in, like so. We should be able to take... well, obviously, they don't go for a Ceaseless Edge. They go for an Aqua Cutter or a Razor Shell or a Sacred Sword there. So now that we know we can definitely take this thing out, looking at their team, I would say they probably switch out here or Sucker Punch. We don't know whether they have Sucker Punch or not. So we've got to try and switch out. So what's our best bet here? If they go into Enamorous, or they wouldn't go King Gambit yet. If they go Enamorous, or they Sucker Punch, we should definitely switch out here. I'm leaning towards Ninetales. I think Ninetales is a great play here, because they're either going to go for a Sucker Punch here, attempt to, or they're going to switch out into Enamorous. So I think Ninetales handles both quite nicely. So we get the Snow Warning up, boosting our defense, being an Ice type. They actually go straight for a Ceaseless Edge. I could have definitely dropped a Draco there, but I didn't want to risk it because the Sucker Punch was obviously a potential thing to happen. So they got the Spikes up. I'm going to get the Aurora Veil up right now because I can safely do that against this Samurott, no problem. And they're going to withdraw probably into the Gholdengo, I would say. Gholdengo makes the most sense. Love. Is that the Enamorous? It is. Gets hurt by the stones, which is fantastic. We get the Aurora Veil up, and I'm guessing they have Mystical Fire, which is probably what they're going for here, but I'm not too worried about that. I don't want to take the Mystical Fire, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do instead is, I'm thinking going into Meloetta could be beneficial. But if they have knockoff or superpower or something, it maybe not. But they wouldn't do that against the Ninetales, surely. So I think I'm pretty safe going into a Meloetta switch here, because we will be able to take any hit from this thing if it's special, because of the Assault Vest. So Melody comes in. Hurt by the spikes, unfortunately. They do go for a Terra. Very interesting. Are they going to be Terra Stella? Terra Steel. Even more interesting. Even more interesting. So, the Enamorous Terra Steel's in our face and goes for a Terra Blast, which is going to sting a little bit, not going to lie. But it's not going to do much damage because of the Aurora Veil plus Assault Vest. So now I feel pretty safe going for a Relic Song. They may stay in an attack with some sort of move. I could have Terra Steel there, actually, but they do withdraw Love. What are they going to go into, Gholdengo? Oh, the Doggy comes in. It makes sense, though. If it's a Dark type, take a Psychic, or whatever I want to go for. So we go for the Relic Song. We're going to unlock our Pirouette form right now, which is fantastic. Nearly KOs the Samurott as well, which is double fantastic. And we transform into our Pirouette form. So now I can safely go for a knockoff, show them we have knockoff, so that the Gholdengo might be a bit more scared to come in. They do withdraw. Are they going to go into the Gholdengo expecting a close combat or something? Tank? Who's Tank? Oh, I'm Baldy. You're not going to like this. You're not going to like this. It does use its booster energy, though, which is going to boost its what? Attack. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good. So knockoffs should still do a bit of damage. It does. That's some nice damage, actually. That's some very nice damage. So let's go for another knockoff here. I don't see any reason not to. It should KO. It does KO. Right, cool. We didn't have to really reveal any other moves, like close combat, for example. So we're looking pretty good right now. We got the Stealth Rocks up. Meloetta is in its Pirouette form. There's not a lot my opponent can really do here, I don't think. They go into Shrek. Oh, the Ogerpon. Are they going to Terra Grass here? I should Terra Steel so I can take the hit. I'm going to go ahead and Terra Steel so I can take a Ivy Cudgel or a Play Rough or whatever. This is going to be beneficial to us, and it means I'm going for the Ice Punch. It's a little bit lower powered than Close Combat, but it doesn't give me the defense drop, and I don't want a defense drop on this thing. Not yet, anyway. Let's go for the Ice Punch. It does nearly do the trick. Oh, it froze them, and they're frozen solid. That is so unfortunate. I am curious to know what they were going to go for there. So I'm going to go for another Ice Punch here just to get some just to finish this thing off, really. If it's frozen, it's not very useful to them, unfortunately. They do withdraw Shrek, though. What are they going to go into to take an Ice Punch? Love? Who's Love again? The Enamorous. That makes sense. So Enamorous comes in, Stones dig in, the Terra Steel as well. We go for an Ice Punch. Bit of damage, nothing too drastic. And now we just CC. We just CC, right? Unless they're Scarf, we should be alright. They're not Scarf, though. We close combat that thing to death. Down it goes. Down it goes. I've got low battery, apparently. That's funny. And down goes the Enamorous, which is fantastic. So, Enamorous going down is fantastic for us. I think Meloetta is definitely putting the work in this game. And by no means am my opponent playing poorly or anything like that. Meloetta's just got a really good matchup here, which is fantastic. Money comes in. The Gholdengo. We are Assault Vest, so I know I can take a Shadow Ball from this thing, but maybe not a Focus Blast, because we have got a defense drop. There's the Air Balloon, of course. We always go for a knockoff here to see if we can get the KO. And if we can't get the KO and we lose Meloetta here, it's not the end of the world. So knockoff comes through, nearly gets the KO, which is fantastic. And they go for a Shadow Ball. They don't have Focus Blast, or they just didn't want to miss. And we do take that because of the Assault Vest, which is amazing. So let's go for another knockoff. Pirouette form, Meloetta coming through right now. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So Gholdengo goes down. And in comes the Samurott. So this thing comes in. It's going to die to Stealth Rock, so that's fine. I think at this point they've kind of accepted their fate. The Meloetta too strong. In comes Shrek once again. Stealth Rock's going to dig in. They're just going to let it go down. I am curious as to what item it had, so I'm going to go for another knockoff. So knockoff comes through, which is great. Shrek goes down. And it was holding the Focus Sash. Okay, cool. So we wouldn't have actually... Oh, wait, no, we would have. We would have KO'd anyway because Stealth Rocks. Last chance comes in. The King Gambit could make a comeback here. Like, not gonna lie. The King Gambit could make a comeback. They can't Terror, but the Sucker Punch will KO us. So, Meloetta, you're not gonna get a full sweep. But you know what? You did good. If the King Gambit pulls back here, this is gonna be so funny because Meloetta just pummeled them. And then King Gambit just comes in and he's like, nah, I'd win. Leftovers as well, which is good to know. Now we need something that can hit this thing with a solid super effective damage move. And that's going to have to be Incineroar, I'm afraid. So we'll bring Incineroar in. We'll get the Intimidate off, which will definitely seal its fate. With the Intimidate lowering its attack, even though it's got the Supreme Overload boost, it should still not KO us with anything. So I'm going to go for a Flare Blitz here. Should do the trick. It's a 2-shot. And the recoil, yeah, the recoil's there as well. Kowtow Cleave comes through. Nearly does the job. With a critical hit. The thing is, I really need this thing to die. I can't afford... They're going to go for a Sucker Punch, right? So I'm going to have to go for a Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, see, the Sucker Punch here, I have to go for a Will-O-Wisp. So Will-O-Wisp comes through. Because I was predicting the Sucker Punch. There we go. But King Gambit can always come back. Like, King Gambit could definitely come back against this team if I let it, like, not have an Intimidate and get burned. I had to burn it there. It's the only way we could have done this. So, burn negates the leftovers as well, which is great. So, they're not going to get all their health recovered straight away. So, now I go for a Flare Blitz just in case. But they do go for a Sucker Punch, which KOs Incineroar. So, this is actually kind of cool how King Gambit... It just goes to show King Gambit's a really good Pokemon. I mean, everyone already knows that, right? Which is why you won't see me doing a video on King Gambit, because everyone knows it's good. Everyone knows what it does. Unless I did like a special King Gambit, that could be cool. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, this is not a King Gambit video, so why am I talking about it? So, anyway, I think the best bet is Clefable here, because we can Flamethrower. We definitely take an Iron Head, but we can Flamethrower, which is kind of clutch. Flamethrower should be able to do the trick here. So, Flamethrower comes through. Nearly gets the job done. They go for an Iron Head, which is going to sting not really that much. But Leftovers is going to save them from going down to the burn, which is great. There's their Leftovers. Which means it's down to Clefable here to KO this thing with a Flamethrower, which is definitely going to happen. They're probably going to Sucker Punch to get a bit more chip, but Flamethrower comes through right now. They go for the Sucker Punch for the extra chip. Doesn't do any damage, obviously. And we Flamethrower and get the KO. So GG Bowser. That was a fun one. Meloetta really shined in that one. And you had a really, really strong team. And you played really well. I don't see anything that you could have done really differently there. But GG anyway. That was a fun one. GG Bowser. What a game for Meloetta. Absolutely obliterated its opponents this game. You'll love to see it. Next up is a battle against Captain Falcon. Also from the Pokemon Battle Hub Discord. And this one's a really good game. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun. Captain Falcon. They're going to lead off with Jolteon. As I led off with my trusty Incineroar on this team. It's such a capable mon, even in singles. We get the Intimidate off. Doesn't matter, obviously. I figured they would lead with either this or they might lead with like the T-Tar or something. I mean, look at their team, right? So I figured maybe they predicted the Yellow Ninetales and would lead with something to counteract that. Maybe the Hisuian Goodra. But Jolteon was also a possibility. So let's go for a safe knockoff right now. Get something knocked off. They go for a Volt Switch, which is fine. Bit of damage. We are special defense, so we take that like a champ. And that means they are probably Choice Specs, which is great to know. So, Forretress comes in, which is an interesting switch for sure. We go for a knockoff here. That's going to knock off a potential item. They actually have a Rocky Helmet, which is now gone. If I'd have gone for a Flare Blitz there, I probably would have died, to be fair. Probably would have died. So now, I'm feeling good. I'm going to go for another Flare Blitz because we don't have to worry about that Rocky Helmet now. Just the normal recoil that we're going to get. And I'm not really sure what they can switch in here, but good luck. They withdraw the Forretress. Okay, what are they going to go into to take a Flare Blitz? Tyranitar makes sense. We could burn, but I don't think we will. It's unlikely. That's nice and shiny as well. I love shiny Tyranitar. It's just a little soul change with a purple and the like more deserty colored scales. But anyway, we get a crit with a Flare Blitz, which is nice, and a crit burn. A crit burn. That is awesome. We get minimal recoil as well, which is great. But the Sandstorm is a problem. So now it's burned, we can bring in Alola Ninetales and get the Aurora Veil straight up. Which is exactly what I'm going to do here, because I know we can take a Stone Edge, even if it's a crit, because of the snow boosting our defense. So we withdraw Neon Cena, and we're going to go into our Alola Ninetales, get the snow up instead of this pesky Sandstorm. There we go. Ruby comes in. There's the snow. And like I said before, I'm just going to get the Aurora Veil up. They do go for a Stone Edge, which still did a butt ton of damage despite the burn. And that wasn't even a crit. Insane. Let's go for an Aurora Veil here. They might switch out because Moonblast could KO here, so I'm expecting a switch, but that just baffled me. They do withdraw the Tyranitar, not wanting to go down to a Moonblast. They've seen the damage out upon the Ninetales. They know it's going to do good still. So Goodra comes in, which is fine. Nice and shiny is a Hisuian Goodra as well. So we go for an Aurora Veil. And I think we've got the Aurora Veil up for the full 8 turns. Let me have a look at the team. So they have got a Rapid Spinner in Forretress, which is very good, very good. So what do we think this thing's going to do? I think it's going to either Flash Cannon us or it might Iron Defense. I think our best bet, because Hisuian Goodra kind of puts in the work here. Looking at the team as well, by the way, Meloetta does really well too. Especially with the Aurora Veil support. That low kicks won't be able to KO us. I think we go for a Moonblast just to see what kind of damage we can do here. Not much damage at all. They do go for a T-Bolt, which is going to KO us. So, the versatile Mon Hisuian Goodra. Got a lot of different coverage moves they can use. So, it's very hard to switch into. Now, this is a good opportunity for us, though. So, I'm going to go into Meloetta now. Good old Melody over here. And I'm just going to go for a Relic Song. I'm going to get into that Pirouette form and put some pressure on the team. They do withdraw the Goodra. Are they going to go in something better to take the Relic Song? Tyranitar. Tyranitar comes in. That's fine. We know this thing's probably banded. Probably banded. We go for a Relic Song, though. That's going to do a nice chunk of damage to it. Not really. Yeah, no damage. I didn't think so. But that does transform us into our Pirouette form, which is clutch. So we're no longer weak to its stab moves. In fact, we resist both its stab moves. So we should be in a good position with the Aurora Veil up. And even if they go for an Earthquake, you won't do too much damage. So I can freely go for a close combat here and KO this Tyranitar, provided they don't Terra. But I don't think they'd waste Terra on a burnt Mon. They do withdraw Tyranitar. Are they scouting to see what we're going to do? And they bring their Rapid Spinner Forretress in. And this should get 2-shot by close combat, to be fair. Should. It does. Is that 2-shot? I don't think that's a 2-shot, to be honest with you. I don't think that's a 2-shot. We don't know what this thing can do. We might be better off going for an... Actually, no, I'm going for another close combat. I bet it KOs. I bet it KOs. Watch. Never mind. Can't win them all. Can't win them all. Right, so anyway, Forretress goes for a Body Press, which is going to KO us. We lived. But the Sandstorm's right there. So what we might have to do is, because I'm looking at this team, right? Right, Jolteon outspeeds us. Do we use our Terra here? That's the real question. Do we use our Terra here? I think I will. Just so I don't get... No, because there's no point. We're going to... Yeah. We've got two more turns. I'm going to go for a knockoff here. Just to get the KO. Not get a defense drop. Not that it really matters, as Forretress does go down. So we got a KO with Meloetta, which is great. But the Sandstorm is putting us on the timer. So depending on what they do here... For example, if they bring in the Jolteon, then we know it outspeeds us. We're going to let it do its thing and just KO us, right? If they don't go into Jolteon, we're in a much better position. So low kicks comes in. Nice and shiny. So this is that position of the because now I can switch out here. I can go into Clefable. I can go into Incineroar. I can preserve this for later. Because looking at their squad, Hisuian Goodra is still there. We can close combat even in the normal form. Tyranitar's still there. We can close combat that in the normal form. So I think we should preserve Meloetta and just get the Intimidate off with the Incineroar. They could go for a U-turn here, but I think it's more likely they go for a First Impression or a Sucker Punch. So I'm hoping for the Sucker Punch. Then we get a free switch in. We get the Intimidate off, which is great. They go for the First Impression, which isn't going to KO us because the Aurora Bell's there, being all awesome. And now all I really need to do is go for a... Because we've got Aurora Bell. They probably have Axe Kick, but they could be banded. Let's go for a knockoff. They go for a U-turn. We live that, obviously. Now, something that isn't a Forretress is going to be knocked off here. So, that's the awesome part about this situation. So, Tyranitar does come in. And it does get that Sandstorm up once again. But we're going to find out what item this Tyranitar's got right now. So, I'm going for a knockoff. Bit of damage. Nothing too drastic. Choice banded. Just as I predicted, they were choice banded. That's great. So, I made the right call in thinking they were choice banded. We do still have another hit in this Tyranitar, and there is a chance on this Incineroar. The Aurora Bell does wear off. Now, we lost the Lowland Ninetales, so the Aurora Bell's gone for good here. But if we can just get some damage off here with Flare Blitz, which we don't, they outspeed us. That's unfortunate. So I was hoping they wouldn't be max speed so that I could, you know, do something with Incineroar there. But it's fine. Anyway, they knock off our heavy duty boots. That's such a shame. What can we do here? Is the main question. We could go Meloetta and get one final hit in with a close combat. Or we could go Dragapult. I kind of want to save Dragapult. I think I'm going to go into Melody here. Because the last thing I need is Dragapult taking any unnecessary damage or anything like that. I don't want to reveal that what I am yet. So I'm going to go for a CC here. And yes, it'll KO the Tyranitar. But we're going to go down to the Sandstorm, unfortunately, the next turn. Now, I could have Terra Steeled here to avoid that. But if I did that, a faster Pokemon like Jolteon or Latios is going to come into the regular form and just KO me anyway. So I may as well let Meloetta go down. But it took out 2 Pokemon, which is awesome. One of them being in its normal form, which is great. And now it's time to go into... They're going to go Jolteon, aren't they? I'm going to go into Dragapult. I think Dragapult's great because it outspeeds everything on the team. So we go into Drazuka, like so, and they go into Latios. So this is actually a great matchup for us. Now, obviously, they haven't Terra'd yet. We don't know what Terra they're going to be either. So there's a couple of things that's going to go down here. They're either going to switch into Goodra, which I think is the best possibility, or they're going to stay in and Terra. So I'm going to go for a U-turn, predicting them to Terra or Goodra. They go for a Luster Purge, showing they are Choice Scarf, which is interesting. And that's going to do over half to us. So I should have gone for a Draco there. I did not expect that at all. So we're going to get Drazuka back anyway. And we'll go into Corviknight, I think. I think Corviknight is our best option because A, it's got Mirror Armor. So Spadef drops will hit the Latios instead. And B, they can't really stay in here because they're choice locked. So I'm going to go for a U-turn here just to get some momentum as they do withdraw the Latios. And whatever they go into next, we can outspeed. So Goodra comes in. Goodra is a bit of a problem. I don't actually know how I'm going to deal with this Goodra. So we'll go for a U-turn. If only I had Body Press on this particular Corviknight. We might actually lose this game, but it's fine because Meloetta got to do some stuff, and that's all that matters to me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into Clefable. Now, Clefable's in an interesting position because not only can we live a... what we can do is we can Terrafire. I think I will Terrafire. Or do I Flamethrower or Moonblast? I Terrafire and then I Moonblast. That's the way I want to go about this. I've still got Moonlights in me, so if I Terrafire, we're going to be fine. They're going to withdraw the Goodra, though. What are they expecting? Jolteon? I love that it's the former Alpha. That's awesome. Nice and shiny. Got a shiny Alpha. Jolteon, that's lucky, that is. So we're going to Terrafire, which is, you know, going to work out nicely for us, I think. So Clefable goes through. There we go. I think Terrafire Clefable could definitely pull this off. Because that Goodra, I don't think it has Surf if it's got Thunderbolt. It'll have 2 Stab, Thunderbolt, and maybe Flamethrower. So we go for that Moonblast. We lower their special attack, which is fantastic. Now we're going to go for another Moonblast. It's a bit more powerful than Flamethrower is right now. Jolteon's Volt Switch comes through. They have to switch something in to take this Moonblast, but what is it going to be? Is it going to be the Latios or the Ghidra? That's the real question. So let's find out. Yeah, Ghidra comes back in. And with Ghidra here, all I want to do is I want to weaken this thing. So Moonblast comes through. It's going to do a bit of chip. They're definitely Assault Vest if I had to guess. But we lowered the special attack as well, which is fantastic. So next up, I think I'm going to go... I think 𝗢𝗡𝗘 can win this, potentially. It depends how much damage they do. So because I don't know what attack they're going to go for, I'm going to go for a Moonblast. I was going to get Stealth Rocks up, but I feel like it's a bit late in the game to get Stealth Rocks up. Plus, they still have like 4 Pokemon left. They withdraw the Ghidra. What are they going to go into? Jolteon again. Nice. But why? Moonblast comes through. We're just lobbing Moonblast at these things. And we get the special attack drop again, which is insane. Our like luck with that is absolutely brilliant. So, right, let's have a quick look at the team. I can't actually remember what their their last Pokemon is. Oh, low kicks, of course. Yeah, so we resist low kicks attacks as well, which is great. We did resist them already, but whatever. Now I'm going to go for a Moonblast, 100%. They go for a Volt Switch once again. This time, they have to go into Ghidra. Otherwise, the Latios and low kicks cannot take a Moonblast. But if we get a special attack drop again, they're going to keep doing this switcheroo thing. So in comes the Ghidra. We go for a Moonblast. Bit more damage. We get the special attack drop every single time so far, which is amazing. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to Moonlight. Because that low kicks, if it has got the tinted lens, then it's up to 𝗢𝗘𝗘 to do this. So we go for the Moonlight. They did stay in. And they go for a T-Bolt, which will sting a little bit, but nothing too drastic. As Leftovers recovers most of that back, which is fantastic. So. Let's go for a Moonblast one more time. We'll just keep going for Moonblast. I don't see any reason not to. The Moonblast comes through. Let's see if we can get another special attack drop. We didn't this time. So I need my Moonblast to take on the low kicks and the Latios. So I don't want my Moonblast to run out of PP, but we have got a lot of PP on it, to be fair. So I think I will just keep going for Moonblast here. As they keep battering me with a Thunderbolt. That's fine. And then we'll go for a Moonlight this turn. It's kind of like it's interesting how 𝗢𝗘𝗘 is basically just walling everything on their team right now. So I'm going to Moonlight, which I haven't PP up. I forgot to PP up the Moonlight, unfortunately. So we go for a Moonlight now. Get some health back. I'm winning this battle of attrition. I am winning this battle of attrition for sure. Okay, don't doubt my 𝗢𝗘𝗘. Tinkerbell is the GOAT. Alright, we go for another Moonblast here. It's obviously going to do half its remaining HP, and we get a special attack drop, which is great. Which means this Thunderbolt's going to do even less. But it could paralyze us. It hasn't paralyzed us yet, though, which is great. I think we win this with 𝗢𝗘𝗘. But that Latios can definitely hit us pretty hard. So we go for a Moonblast again. It's going to KO, obviously. And now I think their best bet is to go low kick, first impression with tinted lens, and then go into Latios and start luster purging. I think that's their best bet, but it's whether they realize that or not. Latios comes in, which is awesome. They haven't gone with a low kick strategy that I laid out, but they haven't terrored yet, I don't believe. So I'm going to go for a Moonblast here, just to see if I can get the damage off on the Latios. At least I don't think they've terrored. Yeah, Draco Meteor comes through. We're going to live that, right? We do, because they are Choice Scarf. We go for a Moonblast. That's going to definitely do the trick as Latios goes down, which is fantastic. So with Latios out of the way, we've got Jolteon to deal with and a low kicks. And I think we can handle it. So let us find out. Right, Jolteon comes in. So let's see if we can live a hit for a start. I don't know if we can. And I'll try and go for a Moonblast. They go for a Volt Switch. It does KO us, unfortunately. But we do have options for this Jolteon, I think. Oh, yeah, Dragapult. Yeah, Dragapult's the option for the Jolteon. Yeah, so they have to go into low kicks here, which we wall with Corviknight. They can't even switch in the Jolteon on a Brave Bird because Corviknight's Brave Bird will do enough damage to KO that Jolteon from there. So we just go Corviknight now. And unless they're Choice Scarf on the Jolteon as well as the Latios, we should have this in the bag. So let's go for a Brave Bird real quick. And now they're going to Terra. Is it going to be Terra Bug with Tinted Lens? Probably. It is, yeah. So Terra Bug, hit first impression, hit Tinted Lens. It's going to sting the Corviknight, but we are 4 times resistant to it. So they actually go for a knockoff, knocking off our Rocky Helmet, but that's going to break your potential Sash if you had a Sash. And now we just go for a Brave Bird. And that's going to KO the low kicks, but it does mean they get a free switch in with Jolteon. So that is one of the problems we've got here. And there comes Jolteon in once again. I mean, I'm just going to stay in a Brave Bird just in case we live, but I know we don't live. So they go for a Thunderbolt. That's fine. We die. And now we just bring Dragapult in and we just Shadow Ball. There's no point Draco in because it could miss. And I don't want to lose because of that. But this is a very close game for sure. So Drazuka comes in. And if they're Choice Scarf, we lose. If not, then we win with the Shadow Ball, which is great. So there we go. They're not Choice Scarf. We go for a Shadow Ball, and that is going to be the game. So GG Kato Falcon. That's a really fun one. Really close one. Great game. And it's been a while since I battled Falcon. So it's always good to see a fresh face. Well, old faces back again. All right, GG Falcon. What a nail biter. I absolutely loved recording that one. It was so exciting. The next game is against Reese, you guessed it, from the Pokemon Battle Hub Discord server. Let's get it. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Reese. They're going to lead off with Fiyumi, which is their Ninetales, as I led off with my Incineroar. Nyan Cena over here, who chat kindly delegated the name for. I mean, I tweaked it. They wanted John Cena, and I said Nyan Cena, so we met in the middle. Anyway, this thing is, we're at type advantage wise, we're in a good position, but I don't think we want to stay in against this thing. It's probably going to go for an Aurora Veil. I think I will just Flare Blitz straight away, expecting the Aurora Veil. There's the Aurora Veil. Now, obviously, they're going to live this Flare Blitz, but it's still a bit of chip, which is the main important part, right? So, Flare Blitz comes through. Boom. Oh, it nearly does half. It's good. Good damage. Good damage. So, now they're either going to... They wouldn't Encore me here. They're more than likely going to switch out. So I'm going to go for a Parting Shot here, just to get a bit of momentum when they do switch out. If they switch out, of course. Moonblast comes through. A bit of chip damage on the Incineroar. Fair enough. We go for a Parting Shot, lowering the offenses of the Ninetales, which is fantastic. And we're going to go ahead and switch out. Now, I'm leaning towards Corviknight to go for a Defog. They can then, Encore as if they want to, but I'm going to go straight into Corviknight because we do not want those screens up. So Bravon, come on in, and we'll just go straight for a Defog. Defog is definitely the optimal thing to go for here. We want to get rid of that Aurora Veil. They did not have a Goldengo, as far as I remember. They go for a Freeze Dry just to get some damage off on the Corviknight, and we go for a Defog, clearing away those Aurora Veils. And I can do this all day. I can sit there and defog away your Aurora Veil until the snow runs out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to predict either a switch or I'm going to go for a Brave Bird. They do withdraw Fiyumi, which is fine by me. And they're going to go into Vivia. Who's Vivia? Not the Hydreigon. And then we go for a Brave Bird, which is going to do a bit of chip. A bit more than I thought it would do. Which is great for us. So now this Hydreigon's in. We have to be careful because my Pokemon can take hits from this thing, sure, but it depends on what set it is. Now I'm going to presume that it's not like a Dragonlance with Terra Poison / Steel Terra Blast, and I'm going to go into Clefable hopefully to wall this thing. So they go for a Hyper Voice, which does a bit of damage because I'm Fizz Death, not Special Death. And they get that Throat Spray, which is absolutely terrifying. Now, we've got a couple of options here. They've gone for the Throat Spray. They don't want to take a Moonblast. They're going to have to either Terra or... they're going to have to Terra or they're going to have to switch out. So, if I had to guess, looking at the team, nothing really wants to take a Moonblast to the face right now. The Fable's actually really important in this game. So, I'm going to have to switch out. So, if I assume they're going to go for something like, I don't know, a Terra. So it's a risky one, a really risky play. but I'm going to go into Dragapult right now, and this could work out good. I don't think they'd expect the Dragapult switch and like predict that I'm going for Dark Pulse. I think they would Terra here, so we go Dragapult. They do in fact Terra, which is fantastic. Hopefully we see Steel or ideally Poison, because then I'll at least resist it. It is Poison. Awesome. So we scouted correctly, which is great. And then we can just drop a Draco on this thing's head and it should KO. But they go for a Terra Blast, which is fine. Like I said, even at +1, we live this being resistant. And it didn't even do half, which is fantastic. Now, looking at their squad, they do have the Ninetales that can come in freely here. I'm going to have to go for a Draco Meteor. They could easily bring the Ninetales in and get their Aurora Veil in, because 9 times out of 10, Dragapult are, in fact, Choice Specs. So, do I risk the Draco Meteor, or do I go into... do I U-turn? I mean, we go for the Draco Meteor every single time, because if they bring the Ninetales in, which they haven't, they've just let the Hydreigon go down, which is fantastic for us. But because of that, if they went into Ninetales, we could just go back to Corviknight, tank any hit once the throw at us, and go for a Defog Gear of the Aurora Veil. So there was a backup plan if they did go Ninetales there, but luckily they didn't, and we got the KO on the Hydreigon, which is fantastic. They probably thought I would predict the switch and go for a U-turn, to be fair, or a Flamethrower predicting the Ninetales. But Yumi comes in, that is the Ninetales, and they're either banking on us being Choice Specs, or they just think they can take a Flamethrower at -2 special attack, which is fair. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into Corviknight once again. Corviknight makes the most sense. And I'm really looking for an opportunity for Meloetta to come in. And now that they've used their Terra, we don't have to worry about that. That's great. We don't have to worry about the surprise Terra on the Meloetta. Let's see if we can pull this off. So we withdraw Drazuka. And we're going to go into Ravon the Corviknight, which is fantastic. So with Ravon in, they go for the Aurora Veil, which they haven't. They've actually withdrew. They made a double, predicting the Corviknight, maybe? And they go into Monkey, which is the Rillaboom, which is actually a really good one for us because we wall this thing to hell and back. They can't Terra Blast Fire, not that that's a common set. So what I'm going to do here is, because of the grassy terrain, I think Meloetta could actually do some work here. We need to weaken that Great Tusk and then we'll be golden. I think I go for a U-turn here. I don't mind the grassy terrain being up. They go for a U-turn of their own. They're going to get some Rocky Helmet chip, which is fantastic. And what are they going to go into? Because this is going to give us a nice bit of momentum, which is what we potentially need. So let's see how this plays out. Now, luckily, Yumi comes in as the Ninetales, so we can bring in something that's a bit faster than this, or just threaten it out in general. So we go for a U-turn, take it down to 50%, which is great. Roughly around 45, 47%. Not to be pedantic, but now I can go Dragapult and just Flamethrower. I think that's the way to go forward here. So I'm going to go Dragapult, I'm going to Flamethrower, just to get rid of the Ninetales, to be honest with you, and then I can get my own Aurora Veil up later as well. So grassy terrain does help us a bit by recovering our health. They can't Terra here to prevent this from happening. Their best bet's to go into Greninja, which getting chip damage on that is very useful. So let's go for a Flamethrower now. Flamethrower comes through, which is fantastic. That's going to take care of the little Ninetales. No problems there. Dragapult coming through for us like an absolute legend. The Drazuka. Bullseye comes in. The Greninja comes in. So this thing is nice. It's nice and shiny. So it's not a Battle Bond set. And it is actually a Grassy Seed set. Very interesting. So we're in a good position. We don't know what set this is. It could have Gunk Shot for all I know. We know it's probably Protein. So I think my best bet is going to have to be... I mean, AV Meloetta does well, but they're probably going to go for a Dark Pulse, right? So I think my best bet is actually to go into Ninetales and get my own Aurora Veil up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And hopefully we don't see a Taunt or anything like that. So let's go into our Ruby over here. They go for a Swords Dance, which means they probably do have the Gunk Shot. They are now a normal type as well. So it's a Swords Dance set with Grassy Seed. That's a very interesting set. Not gonna lie. I definitely want to try and get my Aurora Veil up here. They can't Terra, obviously, so Gunk Shot. Well, they have Air Acrobatics. They obviously don't have Gunk Shot, which is fine. So the Acrobatics is an interesting one because obviously they lost the Grassy Seed, so it's doubled in power. However, we can now live that attack. So what I'm going to do here is we haven't I say we encore it into whatever attack it goes for next. I think that's the best way to go about this, because no doubt they will try and KO us. I don't think they have a good switch in here, so I think they have to try. So they go for a liquidation, which is nearly going to do the trick, lowering our defense. We go for an encore. And to be fair, we're not looking too bad now. So they have to go for a liquidation, in which case 𝗢𝗚𝗘 can now freely come in whenever he wants to. However, I'm not going to go Dragonite just yet. I'm going to go into Corviknight. Corviknight seems like a good option here. Not only do we have the Aura Veil up, we are physically defensive, and we have Rocky Helmet to break a potential sash on this thing. Although I don't think, yeah, it might have a sash, basically. So liquidation comes through. We're hurt by the Rocky Helmet. That's good. It wasn't Focus Sash because they had Grassy Seed. I know that. Ignore me. And now I'm going to go ahead and go for a Roost. I want to get my health back on the Corviknight. It's going to be very important to health up. Did I PP up this Corviknight on Roost? I don't think I did. Liquidation comes through, which is fantastic. It's going to do a bit of damage to us. We do have the Mirror Armor, so if they do try and lower our defense, it won't work. And we get a Roost off, which is fantastic. They're just getting Rocky Helmet chip at this point, so I'm not going to stall. I'm going to U-turn now into something a bit faster. So hopefully they switch out here. That would be ideal, because I would love to get my Meloetta in pirouette form. That would be really cool for us. It would definitely work out well for us, to be fair. So, yeah. So they go for another liquidation, which is absolutely fine by me. Rocky Helmet is going to take into effect. We go for a U-turn, take it down a little bit further, and then Corviknight's going to come back to us. So what I'm actually looking at here, because we know their encore probably ends this turn. I don't have Unaware on Clefable, but I am thinking we've got Aurora Veil. I could Terra Steel here. Or I could just go 𝗢𝗚𝗘. I think I just go 𝗢𝗚𝗘 here. They are a normal type, so I need to remember that. But 𝗢𝗚𝗘 can definitely come in here. And if they don't get any priority moves that can hit us, they kind of have to go into like Lucario or something. But pretty much Flamethrower finishes the game. So let's go for the Flamethrower now. Should KO the Greninja. Does KO the Greninja, which is great. Then being a normal type there is definitely clutch, because I don't know whether that would have KO'd if they were still water type. Rampage comes in. That's a good name for a Great Tusk. Makes sense. So this thing, obviously, we don't want to face this thing in a one-on-one situation. So what we're gonna have to do here is we do want to weaken it though. 𝗢𝗚𝗘 could be our wink on this game, so I think I'm going to go into Ninetales and sack it off. That seems like the most valuable thing to do right now. So Ruby comes in. And we don't know what set this Great Tusk is, but it could be offensive, it could be defensive. They have the Ice Spinner, which is going to definitely KO us. Never mind. We live to see another day, and that means we outspeed. So now, looking at their team, I would say we've got a good chance of winning if we go for a Moonblast here, because they might bring Lucario in. They do stay in to take said Moonblast, which is great for us. And they go for a Rapid Spin to KO us, which will not get rid of any hazards because we haven't set any up. But Ruby goes down, which is unfortunate. Now, maybe I should have set hazards on this team. I mean, I do have hazards on the team, but maybe I should have set hazards up. I mean, that's what I meant. So now, Clefable seems like the best option here. It scares it out into the Lucario, for sure. We don't want this thing being high speed. And I'm pretty sure we've got a couple more turns of the Aurora Veil. So what I might do here is try and finish the game with Meloetta. So Melody comes in. Now we know we have Ice Spinner, which means they probably don't have... I don't have the Aurora Veil up anymore. I just realized. Relic Song will KO here, so I'm going to go for it. They go for a CC, which shouldn't KO us. No, it doesn't. That's good. Even with the Aurora Veil gone, we could still live that. And now we go for a Relic Song, which should KO the Great Tusk here, at least. It does. And then that'll transform us into our Pirouette form, which is fantastic. I love Meloetta's Pirouette form. It's so good. But now we need to worry about the Lucario, if it's got extreme speed, for sure. Monkey comes in. That's going to be the Rillaboom, though. That's also got Grassy Glide, so that's a scary one. Pretty much, they have to go for a Grassy Glide here. So even though Meloetta is only taking out the Great Tusk, we can still win this game if we play smart here. So I don't have any other opportunities looking at that team to really set up, because Lucario will have extreme speed, so I may as well just let Meloetta go down here, but they might be thinking the other way around. They might be thinking we're going to like flip. So I'm going to go for a close combat. They didn't go for the Grassy Glide, probably predicting the Corviknight to come in, which is great for us. So we get a nice close combat off, and they go for a knockoff, which will KO the Melody. So that's unfortunate. Melody goes down, and they knock off our Assault Vest. So yeah, we were Assault Vest. I figured an Assault Vest made sense because we do have a lot of power anyway with the Pirouette form. But I think it might be time to bring in something like Corviknight. I think it's time for Dragapult to come in, to be honest with you. I think Dragapult wins here. I'm pretty sure Dragapult wins here. So let's go for a Flamethrower. They probably go for a Grassy Glide to get a bit of chip, but let's see how that plays out for him. Flamethrower comes through. They don't go for the Grassy Glide, so they're probably banded, locked into knockoff, if I had to guess. So Rillaboom goes down anyway, which is great. And now we've just got the Lucario to worry about. Now, if the Lucario is Focus Sashed, then we're kind of boned. Not really, because I'm sure we can live a Meteor Mash from our Focus Sash Lucario. Protagonist comes in. That's going to be the Lucario, right? Yeah, nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. Pretty sure a Flamethrower KOs here. Like I said, they can't Terra. They've already Terra'd. So I'm hoping Flamethrower comes through. And that's a dead Lucario. No Focus Sash, nothing like that. Brilliant. So GG Restar's a fun one. Meloetta Pirouette form made an appearance. Didn't really do too much, but he still got a KO on Great Tusk. Lived the close combat. And we close combated the Rillaboom to get some nice damage off. So overall, decent game. GG Reese. GG Reese, that was a super fun game, even if Meloetta didn't do too much. So up next, as promised at the start of the video, is a blooper battle of me trying to get videos for this Meloetta showcase. I'll let the battle speak for itself. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Max. So they're going to lead off with Ursaluna, the former Alpha, as I led off with Nyancina. Now, the fact that they've led off with Ursaluna, of all things, after I get an Intimidate off on it, tells me that this might be the Zoroark, which means they're more than likely going to switch. There is also the chance that it is the Ursaluna, so I have to be very careful with what I do here. So if it's the Ursaluna, we will outspeed. So I'm going to go for a Parting Shot here. They actually go for a trick, proving it is the Zoroark, so I should have gone for a knockoff, but you can understand why I didn't want to risk that straight away, as our Nyancina does get a pair of choice specs and they get the heavy duty boots. So I go for a Parting Shot here. We are looking good, because now I can bring in my nice and shiny, not nice and shiny, nice and powerful Meloetta. I unfortunately do not have a shiny Meloetta. I'm not doing the thing you have to do in Pokemon Home for that. Anyway, knowing this thing's a Hisuian Zoroark, and it's got a pair of heavy duty boots now, I'm leaning towards what to go into. I think I'm going to go into Meloetta, because it's Assault Vest for one. It's immune to Ghost type moves. And my opponent, you never know, might not know that. So I'm going to go for a knockoff now. I know I can take any hit from this thing, especially now I know it's not specs. That's for sure. So go for a knockoff could definitely, probably nearly KO it, to be honest with you. They withdraw the Ursaluna. They don't want it to go down to a Psychic type move or something. And they go into Corviknight the Serene, which is a good play. Nice and shiny, gotta love it. We obviously go for a knockoff here. Should knock off the Night, and they've got a Rocky Helmet, so they don't have that anymore, which is great for us, because Rocky Helmet chip is never fun. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out again, and this time I'm going to go into, because they're either going to go for a U-turn or a Body Press or a Brave Bird, right? So I'm going to go into Dragapult, because I know I can obviously take a Body Press. I'll resist the U-turn. It's just the Brave Bird's the risk. So I'm going to go into Drazuka now, like so. They go for a U-turn, which is fine. It's going to do no damage. And what are they going to go into, though? That's the real question. If I had to guess, I would say Low Kicks comes in. This thing wants to Sucker Punch me. It's nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. So, I don't want to get Sucker Punched. I have got to switch in, being Corviknight. So I'm going to go into Corviknight every single time here, and then we'll just U-turn on it. It might U-turn itself, predicting the switch, but I'm not risking it. I don't want to lose Dragapult just yet to a Low Kick. So, Rayvon comes in, the Corviknight. They did go for a Sucker Punch, which is fantastic for us. And we know they're either going to stay in and be risky and go for an Axe Kick, or they're going to switch out and go for a U-turn. So I'm going to go for a U-turn myself. If they switch out hard, we know they're probably banded or focus sash and don't want to break their sash on the Rocky Helmet. They aren't banded, which is good to know. They get some Rocky Helmet chip, breaking a potential sash, and they're going to go on back to max. So let's see what they go into, and we're obviously going for a U-turn, so we've got a bit of momentum going on there, which is fantastic. Raging Bolt comes in. That's a good play. A very good play. Is it booster? It is booster. Okay, so he's going to boost his special attack probably, right? Yeah, special attack was heightened, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let's go for a U-turn, get a bit of chip off on it. And what we'll have to do here is, because here's the thing, right? I'm going to go into 𝗢𝗚𝗘 purely because I want to see if they Terra here. So there's two things that are going to happen. They're either going to Terra Fairy or they're going to switch out into, I'd say, the Corviknight, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to U-turn right off the bat to scout for the Terra. There's no point risking it when it's a Raging Bolt, but if we can force them to use their Terra here, then that'd be great. But not a lot on the team other than Corviknight wants to take a Draco Meteor from this thing. So they are going to Terra, which is great. What type though? Is it going to be Fairy? I think Fairy would make sense. Yeah, it's usually Terra Fairy Raging Bolt. So we made the right play by going for a U-turn here. Because now at least, if they go for a Dragon Pulse or a Terra Blast, we can go into Corviknight and resist those. Or we can go into Incineroar now, our specially defensive mon, and just take the hit as well. And there's a couple of options for us there. So if we assume they're probably going to go for a Dragon type move here, we should go into Ninetales. And then even if they go for a Terra Blast, it won't KO us, I don't think. I think we can take one Terra Blast. But they go for a Dragon Pulse anyway, which is fantastic. So now is a very good time for us to get an Aurora Veil up, which is exactly what I'm going to do. They withdraw Raging Bolt. This is probably going to bring the Corviknight in who wants the defog, right? They actually go Slowbro. Interesting. So Slowbro comes in nice and shiny. We go for that Aurora Veil, which is fantastic for us. Absolutely fantastic for us. And what we're going to do is, I think our best bet is Incineroar, to be honest with you. I think I'm just going to go hard into Incineroar after we set up the Aurora Veil. And then we can get a fat knockoff off on something, which would be ideal. So we withdraw our Ninetales. I'm not risking it with a quick draw on the Shell Sidearm move. It could probably KO us. So I'm going to go into our Incineroar real quick. Get the Intimidate off, not that it matters. And then they do go for a Psychic. They predict something else potentially coming in, which is interesting. So I get a free knockoff here on something, and that is absolutely fantastic. The only thing they can really switch in on a knockoff is their Corviknight, right? And that's risky. Yeah, Corviknight the Serene comes in. So it's not only going to get another knockoff to the face, which isn't going to do too much damage, but it's also going to get a Flare Blitz to the face the next turn, which is great because they kind of have to defog here, right? So I'm going to go for a Flare Blitz now. Oh, we're choice specs. Never mind. I wish something had knocked me off. Right, what's our second best option? If they're going to defog, we should go into 𝗢𝗚𝗘 and Flamethrower. Yeah, we go 𝗢𝗚𝗘 and Flamethrower. So Neon Cena come on back. I'm not worried about this Corviknight's Brave Bird KOing us because it won't KO us even if it's a crit. They do go for a U-turn though. So what would they go into here? Luckily, they haven't got a Rocky Helmet on this Corviknight. They haven't got a booster energy anymore on the Raging Bolt, so they lost that Photosynthesis. The Hisuian Zoroark is no longer choice spec, so it loses that firepower. So we have severely weakened their team quite a bit. So Low Kicks is the Pokemon of choice here. And they didn't defog, which is interesting. Now we know what it wants to do. It's going to go for a Sucker Punch. I still can't risk it, so I'm going to have to go into Corviknight here. I can't risk 𝗢𝗚𝗘 going down to a Sucker Punch. I would play the mind games, but they might go for a U-turn here, predicting the switch, but I still can't risk the Sucker Punch. Knockoff is also in that same boat. I didn't even know Low Kick's got knockoff. That's pretty cool. We got some Rocky Helmet chip at least, but this time we're going to go for another U-turn. They go for a U-turn themselves, which is going to do a bit of chip. But Aurora Veil's up there, so we're fine. That Tinted Lenses are going to help you here. Corviknight comes in. We did go for a U-turn, so we're in a very good position here. For sure. And we go for a U-turn. Now, if I go hard into MacLeod here, it's going to make them think, huh, is this Terra Fire with Terra Blast? Does it have something that can hit me? Stuff like that, right? So what I'm going to do is We don't know what set it is, though. That's the thing. I might Terra Steel Relic Song. I do want to weaken this thing, though. I think our best bet's the Incineroar again, and this time we'll go for a Flare Blitz. Now, if they go for a Defog to get rid of the Aurora Veil, which they might not even need to. You know, we've still got 2 turns. We'll go for a Flare Blitz. I don't see any reason not to go for a Flare Blitz, to be honest with you. It'll hurt something on the team. It's going to be one of those games where we're just getting a lot of chip damage, and we're slowly whittling each other down. So they go for a U-turn, which is fine. And what are they going to go into now? If I had to guess, I'd say the Slowbro if it's defensive. And they know we're choice spec, so they know that we have to switch out after we've used Flare Blitz. Ursaluna's coming in. Is that the real Ursaluna? Might be. Nice and shiny. Flare Blitz comes through. That's definitely the Ursaluna, yeah. There's the burn, see? Oh, that was us burning it. Interesting. So that was a crit. And they are leftovers. Huh. Well, the burn is going to negate that leftovers, which is fantastic. Now, Flare Blitz was a crit. I don't want to risk the Headlong Rush. Corviknight's not going to appreciate a Facade here, but it might be coming our way. So I'm going to switch into Corviknight to take the Headlong Rush. But if they go for a Facade, we'll have to go for a U-turn. They go for a Rest. Oh, okay, it's not a Guts variant. Interesting. Very interesting. So Ursaluna is going to get all his health back. The Aurora Veil wears off. So I guess they're going to have Sleep Talk. So I'm going to go ahead and use this opportunity to go for a U-turn here. And we'll U-turn out. I'm guessing Headlong Rush and Double Edge are its main moves. I think we should go into Ninetales here and get that Aurora Veil back up for a start. Definitely think that's the way we should go about it. So Snow Warning is here, boosting our defense, so we can definitely take a hit from it. What's he going to do? Yes, Sleep Talk. That's pretty cool, that is. I love Ursaluna. It's such a cool design. But unfortunately, they did get Rest again, which is very unfortunate. It means no damage for us. And what we'll do is we'll just go for the Aurora Veil again, just to add the extra bulk to our team. I am leaning towards trying to get into... There's the Aurora Veil. They do wake up the next turn, which they must know. So whatever they go for here, Sleep Talk, yep. Whatever they go for after Sleep Talk, Earthquake. Will we eat that? It's definitely Guts though, because that's after Aurora Veil and in the snow. But what we'll do is, I'm not sure how this works. Encore's either going to Encore into... Encore will either Encore into Sleep Talk or Earthquake. I can't remember which one it'll be. So I'm going to go for it. They actually withdraw. They don't want to get hit by a Freeze Dry, which is fair enough. And they go into Slowbro. Slowbro is a great switch here. It resists our Moonblast, and it's not bothered about Freeze Dries. But Encore is going to fail here, which is unfortunate. Now, we definitely need to switch out. But into what? I'm leaning towards the Meloetta, but I feel like we need to weaken this thing a bit more first. So I think I'm just going to go Incin. Incineroar obviously being choice specs is kind of problematic for us. But Nyancina can come in now. They're going to expect a knockoff. We get the Intimidate, which is great. They go for a Surf, so they must be an offensive one, right? So if I go for a knockoff here, I think we go for a knockoff. This does give them an opportunity to go into Raging Bolt if they predict the knockoff, but if they don't predict the knockoff, we get the Slowbro, which is great. Knockoff comes through on the Nyancina, nearly KOs the Slowbro. We get rid of its Assault Vest, which is fantastic. So it's probably Regenerator. And there we go. So now they know we're locked into knockoff. They don't want to take another knockoff. So I think they switch into Raging Bolt. That's what I would do. Right? So best bet, in my opinion, for a Terra Fairy Raging Bolt is going to have to be the Meloetta. So I'm going to hard into Meloetta right now. So Nyancina, come on back. We'll bring Meloetta in. And they do withdraw the Slowbro. They probably are Regenerator on that thing, if I had to guess. They actually go Low Kicks, which is interesting. So with Low Kicks on the field, we're probably going to have to... We'd have to Terra Relic Song. That's what I'm going to do. So we'll Terra real quick. We'll Relic Song them, which should do a lot of damage. May even KO them, in fact. So we Terra Steel, so we resist its bug and dark move. Well, not dark moves. We resist his bug moves because it's probably expecting a calm mind or something. First impression, we live that. The crit. The crit. Really? Oh, that is unfortunate. That is so unfortunate for MacLeod right there. That crit was clutch. We have Aurora Veil up and it was resisted. I know it was Tinderland, but Aurora Veil should have stopped that KO. Unless, of course, they crit, which they did. So that is unfortunate. We've lost our main sweeper of the team. So what do we do? To be fair, Flamethrower looks pretty good here. They don't necessarily know what set we are. I'm going to Flamethrower anyway. They Sucker Punch. We live that. No, Aurora Veil just doesn't exist. Oh, it was a crit again? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh, really? Right, let's go for a Brave Bird. I'm just going to go for a Brave Bird. Screw it. I want to get chip damage off. That low kicks is just coming absolute menacingly. U-turn. That is unfortunate. So Max. All right, low kick's going to go back to Max. Not the critical hits. Or as Shady Penguin would say, it's a crit. I can't do it. I can't do the impression. Right, Raging Bolt's going to come in. The only option I've got here is to whittle this thing down. Let's Brave Bird. Get some damage off. Takes it down to half, which is great. The Aurora Veil wears off. Great. I go for a U-turn because they probably don't expect us to stay in here. They probably go for something else. Yeah, Thunderbolt. They outspeed us anyway, so we're dead. Okay, this is not working out as well as I thought it would. What is going on? What is going on here? I'm playing terribly right now. I guess our best bet's Incineroar. I know it can take a Thunderbolt. I know it can take a Thunderbolt from here. Unless it's a crit again. But I'm going to go for a Flare Blitz. They do go for a Thunderbolt. It wasn't a crit, but we don't take it. My damage calcs are off. Okay. Okay, look. Here's the thing. I'm going to go into Ninetales now. Ninetales is going to get the Aurora Veil up, and we're going to completely... Yeah, Aurora Veil. Aurora Veil. Aurora Veil. Yeah, Aurora Veil's working here. There we go. Aurora Veil's going to stop us from dying at least. I mean, we'd probably still go down to a Thunderbolt here. There we go. And now we just go for a Moonblast just to get some chip. They probably go for a Thunderclap though. But Moonblast comes through. Bit of damage. Thunderbolt comes through and down we go. But at least we're taking care of the Raging Bolt for the most part here. So Clefable could actually pull this back if we're lucky. So let's go into Tinkerbell. Oh, we're about to get 6-0'd. We're about to get 6-0. I'm going to Moonblast again with Clefable. They Thunderbolt. We're going to live, right? Yeah, of course we live. Moonblast comes through. So we avoid the 6-0. I can't believe it. This game, I can't believe it. Those two crits. I mean, I know... Look, Raging Bolt would have still taken on the MacLeod just fine. I know that. Deep in my mind, I know that. But this whole game has just been a massive failure for me. Slowbro comes in. And our only option is to Flamethrower, so I'm going to go for it. It still does a decent chunk of damage. Sludge Bomb. Can we live that? We do. Great, but the battle ends in 50 seconds, and they've got 5 Pokemon left, and I've got 1. So I have a feeling I know how this battle's going to go down. So I'm going to Flamethrower now. I'm taking this Slowbro down with me. I don't care what anyone says. I'm taking it down with me. Slowbro, you're coming down with me. This is going to be a 4-0. This is not going to be a 5-0. I'm going to Flamethrower you right now. There we go. Down goes the Slowbro. To be fair, looking at the rest of the squad, right, with Aurora Veil up, the Fable kind of bodies, right? Not really. Not really. We've got no elf. That low kick just comes in at first impressions here. We're done. Done for. Done and dusted. Ursaluna. Let's see if we can get one more move in. I went for Flamethrower because I was spamming A. Bit of damage. It was a crit. Nice. Now they wake up. And they go for that body slam. And that is going to end the game. I was a crit again. Oh, this game. GG, Max. That was a funny one. GG indeed. Well, that was a fail. Granted, some hacks was involved, but all well is the game we play, right? Anyway, if you want to try out the team, as promised, here's a rental code you can use. Let me know how it goes in the comments down below. Cheers, everyone.